Good morning, students. The topic we are going to see today is social structure and functions of institution. Okay, it's a little dry topic, especially the social structure part, so I'll just explain briefly. We are studying about society. Okay, so each society has a structure. Okay, for example, in Vellore, the society that we have, what is the structure? The government is there, that is the collector is there, police are there, then educational institutions are there. So all these institutions and organizations form the society of Vellore. Okay, so like that, if we have to define the social structure all over the world, then we have to see what is such society made of. Okay, so Herbert Spencer, who we are going to study in the next chapter in detail, was one of the first person to tell about the structure of society. Okay, and he called society like an organism. Okay, organism, just like your human body, where you have hands, legs, eyes. Each part of the human body has a specific function. Same way, the society consists of individuals, organizations, each of which have a specific function. So if all the parts of the society do their job correctly, then the society is normal. If some part of the society does not do their job well, then there will be some problem in the society. Okay, so there are many people who told about social structure. I have taken three people's views. One is Nadal. Okay, S.F. Nadal. He was telling about society. He told the social structure refers to the network of social relationship which is created among the human beings when they interact with each other. This is a simple way of explaining. The social structure means it is a social relationship between the human beings when they talk with each other. The society is made of human beings, and when they have relationship and when they talk to each other, social structure forms. Okay, so for him, for social structure, there are three things which are needed. One is a group of people. The second one is institution rules according to which the members have to interact. The third thing is an institutional pattern or expression of these interactions, how these patterns are expressed. Okay, so when these three are there, then the social structure is present. Ginsberg, okay, the next sociologist who discussed about social structure is Ginsberg. He told that the study of social structure is concerned with the principal forms of social organization. Okay, an organization has different parts, that is group, association, institution. We are going to study about association, institution later on. So these are all just imagine a human body. We have hands and legs. Same way, society has groups, association and institution. So when they interact with each other, they form social structure. Just imagine if you do not have any bones in your body. How will your body look? You will look like an amoeba. It will just be one big flesh. Okay, only the bones give you structure. Same way, in a society, the groups, associations, institutions give the structure to the society. Imagine like that, then it will be easy for you to understand. Then Talcott Parsons is a very important sociologist. He also tried to explain about social structure. So he told social structure is a term applied to the particular arrangement of interrelated institutions, agencies and social patterns, as well as the rules and roles which each person assumes in the group. Okay, this is very similar to what Ginsberg was telling. Here he says there is a particular arrangement of the institutions, agencies and social patterns. Okay, each part of the society should function in a particular way. Okay, he also told that all the social structure is invisible and intangible. Okay, intangible means you cannot touch it, invisible means you cannot see it. So in the society, the structure is invisible, you cannot see it. But how does it maintain the structure? It maintains with the customs, traditions and conventions of society. In a human body, you can see the bones which hold the body in a erect way. But in a society, you cannot see the parts of the society, which are the institutions, agencies and groups. But even though you cannot see it, there are customs and traditions which are part of these groups, which provide the structure to the society. Okay, so that is social structure. You can just give an example. If you are asked about social structure in the exam, you can give example. Just like a human body, how we have bones, muscles which give form to the society, form to the human body. Same way in the society, there are groups, organizations and agencies which give structure to the society. But the structure in the society is not visible, cannot be touched, and it is abstract. Okay, but the structure is maintained because of the traditions and customs that are available in the society. So that is a right way of writing about social structure. So based on the above definitions, we come to certain conclusions about the social structure. Social structure is abstract and intangible. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it, you cannot touch it. Okay, and as just like individuals or each human being is part of an association. Okay, each of you, when you finish your course, you will be part of the university's graduates. You will be part of the Alumni Association of Karigiri. So same way, just like individuals, each person is part of an association. These associations and institutions are parts of the social structure. Then these institutions and associations are interrelated in a particular way. Okay, because they are related in a particular way, it forms the pattern of the social structure. Then it refers to the external aspect of the society. Okay, the internal aspect of the society is the function of the society. Structure of the society is the external aspect. Okay, so remember, social structure is the external aspect of society. Social function is the internal aspect of society. So social structure is a living structure which is created, maintained for a time and changes over a period of time. Okay, so it is a structure that can be created and maintained, but slowly the social structure will change also. So let us see what are the elements of social structure. Okay, there are 5 elements. First is the normative system. Normative means rule based. Okay, normative means rule based. So for example, in your college, do you have rules? Yes, every college, every government has rules. Why are these rules made? Rules are made so that people will follow and they will be in a particular manner. If there are no rules, people will do all sorts of things which are right or wrong. Okay, so in any society, rules provide the structure of the society. The behavior of the people who are members of the society is based on how the rules are formed. Okay, so based on the rules, the individuals perform their roles. They follow the rules and behave accordingly. Then is the position system. Okay, position means status. In your college or in Vellore, the government, who is the top? The collector is at the top. Then who else is at the top? In the magistrate is at the top. The police officials are at the top. Then, like after the police official, the inspector is there. Then the constable is there. Like that, each of them have a position in the society. Same way, Society provides position for each person according to their capacities and capabilities. When all of them function normally, then the structure of the society is present. Okay. Then the next thing about the element of social structure is the sanction system. Okay, sanction means punishment. Okay, first we told rules are there, then people have positions, then we have sanction. Sanction means if some part of the society does not function normally. For example, now because of coronavirus, the government has told all the people to stay home. They have told all the shops should be closed. But we see when some shops are open, that means they are going against the government rule. So what does the government do? They seal the shop. They close down the shop. So the people who do not conform to the rules are punished by the society according to the nature of their mistake. Okay, if they do a major mistake, they are given a major punishment. If they do a small mistake, they are given a small punishment. So that is the sanction system. So when people are punished, then they do not deviate from the society. So the social structure is maintained. The next element of the social structure is system of anticipated response. So every person, every individual has to participate in the social system. Okay, so each person has a duty and they have to fulfill their duty, then only the society will function normally. Finally, the fifth one is the action system. Okay, so every society has a final goal. What is the goal of Vellore? To provide jobs to everybody, to keep people healthy and live normally. Okay, to keep people healthy, we have hospitals. To give jobs to everybody, new companies are being started. Like that, every society has a goal. So the ultimate goal has to be achieved. So all the people have to follow the rules so that the society will achieve its goals. So these are the 5 things that are elements of a social structure. Then we'll come to the types of social structure. Here there are 4 new words that you have to study. Okay, so universalistic social values. Universal means all over the world. Particularistic means in a particular area. Okay, achieved means something that you achieve. Ascribed means based on your hereditary. Okay, these are 4 words. So universalistic social values are those where anybody who, based on their achievement in society, based on their expertise, they are given importance. Okay, particularistic social values, if a person is of a particular religion, particular caste or a particular state, then they are considered important. Achieved social values based on the achievement of the person. Ascribed social status is based on the hereditary of the person. Okay, so based on these 4 aspects, that is universalism, particularism, achievement and hereditary or ascribed social status, the social structure is formed. All the people, every single person in the society has one of these 4 things at least, or more than one thing also. So we will combine each of that. The first one is universalistic achievement pattern. Okay, so universalistic, we already told, it's all over the world and based on the achievement. So here, if some person achieves something, then they are given importance in the social structure. For example, based on their community, class or race, they are given importance. Okay, the next one is universalistic ascription pattern. Here it's based on the universal nature, but it is based on the hereditary, based on how they were from generation to generation. I hope you all know about Hitler, who was the dictator in Germany. So he told that the people of Germany, because of their hereditary, they are superior than other people. And he told, because they are superior, they'll rule all over the world. So this kind of behavior is universalistic ascription pattern. That is based on their hereditary status. They impose their society all over the world. The next one is particularistic achievement pattern. Okay, what is particularistic achievement pattern? We already studied that particularistic means related to a particular area. In that area, if somebody achieves, okay, they are given more priority, and that's true. They are the high achievers in the social structure. So Indian and Chinese social structure come under this category because we are more traditional people. We give importance to traditional achievements. Okay, finally the fourth type is particularistic ascriptive pattern. So the Spanish social structure is an example of the particularistic ascriptive pattern. So these are the four types of social structure: the universalistic achievement pattern, universalistic ascription pattern, particularistic achievement pattern, particularistic ascriptive pattern. I have given example for each. The universalistic ascription pattern, Nazi Germany is an example. Particularistic achievement pattern, India and China are examples. Particularistic ascriptive pattern, Spain is example. Okay, we can also divide the social structure into formal and informal structure. Formal means government agencies, political parties, schools, labor unions. Okay, they are the formal structures of the society. Okay, there are informal structures which are non-government agencies. Okay, private agencies. They are the informal structure of society. So next we will study what is social institution. Okay, you have to, there is one question which is common in your university, which is give definition of the institution. So we will see the definition here. An institution is a set of folkways and mores into a unit which serves a number of social functions. An institution is an organized system of social relationships which embodies certain common values and procedures and meets certain basic needs of society. Social institutions are formal cultural structures devised to meet basic social needs. Okay, so what does a social institution mean? What is an institution? Is Karigiri an institution? Yes, it is an institution. Is CMC Hospital an institution? Yes. VIT? Yes. These are all colleges. What about police? It is an institution. Police station is an institution. Other than colleges, you have religious structures. Temple, Tirupati temple, for example. Is it an institution? Yes, it is an institution. So there are different types of institutions in the society. So now we'll take this definition. An institution is an organized system of social relationships. So I have given you examples of institution, both religious and educational institutions. So all of them are organized systems and they have social relationships. Each of the people working there have social relationships, and all of them have common values and procedures that meets the basic needs of society. So that is how we define a social institution. Okay, every institution that is present around us, every organization, it's a institution. Okay, an institution never dies, and in an institution, new norms. I've already told you previously. Norms means laws or rules. So new rules will replace the old rules, but the institution will go on. Even the family is a institution. A family is a very important institution which we will study about later. Okay. So what are the characteristics of the institution? The first one is it is a method of controlling individuals. If you take a single person, you and me, your classmates, we are all individuals, single people. If we are left alone, what will we do? Will we always do right things? No, we will do sometimes wrong things also. So institutions always control the individuals so that they do the right things. The next characteristic is institution depend on the collective activities of men or women. Okay, one person cannot form the institution. It needs a group of people and all of them doing different activities form the full institution. In your family, if you are only one person, you will do the cooking, you will do the washing, everything you will do. But it does not make you complete. So if it's a group of people doing different things, different works, then it becomes an institution. The third thing is institution has definite procedures in the form of customs and dogmas. So every institution has some regular customs. Okay, institution is more stable than other means of social control. We will study what is social control later. So it is one of the most stable forms of social control. And every institution has rules and regulations which must be compulsorily obeyed by the individual. So in your family, if your father says do not watch TV after 9 o'clock, and if you watch TV, what will happen? You will be scolded. Same way, that is the institution of family. Same way in the college, if you are told to write a test without looking at the book and if you are copying, then you will be scolded. So every institution has rules which has to be followed compulsorily. There are 5 major institutions. This is an important thing which you have to know. What are the major institutions in sociology? They are political institutions, educational institutions, economic institutions, family as an institution, and religion as an institution. Okay, these are the 5 major institutions, and they can be called as the primary institutions. Okay, we'll leave this because we have already seen that. So let us see the 5 primary institutions: family, economy, religion, education, and politics or state. Okay. So what does the 5 primary institutions mean? 5 primary institutions are found in all human groups all over the world. All over the world you will find families. All over the world you will find economics. All over the world you will find religion. All over the world you will find education, and all over the world you will see countries or state. Okay, so it is found all over the world, and each of these family is different from economics is different from religion. So like that they are distinctly different, but at the same time each of them is related to each other. The family is related to economics, family is related to religion, family is related to education, family is related to state. Same way economics is related to all the other 4, religion is related to all the other 4. So every primary institution is related to each other, but they exist separately. And each of these primary institutions have secondary institutions. Okay, so what are the secondary institutions of each of these primary institutions? Remember correctly, there are 5 primary institutions, and each primary institution have many secondary institutions which we are going to see now. The secondary institutions from a family are monogamy, marriage, divorce, polygamy. Okay. Secondary institutions of religion are church, temple, mosque, totem or taboo. Okay. Secondary institutions of economics are property, trading, credit and banking. Secondary institutions of education are school, college and university. Secondary institution of state are interest groups, party and democracy. Okay, so you know the list of primary institutions and the list of secondary institutions under each of these primary institutions. So this you should remember. What are the primary institutions? What are the secondary institutions under each primary institution? Okay, so we will also see what each of these are. First is political institution. What is a political institution? The government forms the political institution. They provide rules for how people have to live in the society. Okay, and the society works based on the rules and regulations formed by the government. One example, easy to say, is the coronavirus. These days, the government has made rules that people who should go out, only people who are working in hospitals and sanitary, they should go out. So everybody is following that. So when a political government, political institution, which is a primary institution, makes rules, all the people who are under the government will follow the rules and regulations. Okay, next comes the education. For education, what you have to understand is the process of socialization. What is socialization? You meeting people is called socialization. When you first came to school, did you meet new people? You made new friends. That is socialization. When you came to college, you met new people. You made new friends. That is socialization. In your own family, you meet new relatives when they come to your house and you learn about them, you talk to them, become friends with them. That is socialization. Same way, when you go to work, you will meet new people and make new friends. That is also socialization. Okay, socialization begins in your house. When you are born, when you grow up in your house, socialization starts, and that is informal socialization. When you go to an educational institution like school or college, it becomes a formal socialization. Okay, so in education, when you go to schools or colleges, you develop knowledge, skill, attitude. You learn how to do things, how to behave, and how to do your work. So knowledge, skill, attitude, all this you learn in the educational institution. Okay, so the third thing is economic institution. So you all know it is economic means related to money. Okay, so what happens when you get money? It is needed for the food, shelter, clothing and other necessary things. So when you have money, you are able to buy your food, you are able to buy a house, you are able to buy clothes and other things which are needed. Okay, so each economy consists of industries, agricultural. So these are the things which help in making money. Okay, when you work in an industry, you make money. When you work in the bank, you make money. So like that, economic institutions are agriculture, industry, marketing, credit and banking system. Then the next institution is the family. It is the most basic social institution. So family is the basic, it is the most basic social institution. We will be seeing family in detail later, so I'll just leave it that. Then religion is another social institution. The belief in religion is sometimes supernatural. That means it cannot be explained by normal words. You are believing in God who we have never seen. So that means it is supernatural. When you look at the trees and rivers, then it is natural. It is seen, visible. But when you believe in God, it is supernatural. Okay. So based on your belief in the religion, your behavior changes. If you are trying to steal, then you may think, okay, God will punish me if I steal. So I will not steal. So based on religion, your behavior changes. So religion is one of the most important social institutions, and under the religion there are secondary institutions like church, temple, mosque. Okay, these are all secondary institutions. The primary institution is religion, like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism. All these are religions which are primary institutions. Under the religion there are secondary institutions. Okay, hope you have understood till here. Now we'll go to the family. Okay, it's a little bit more and then we'll finish. So what is the definition of family? Okay, you all live in your family, so let us see what is the definition is. It is a group of persons united by ties of marriage, blood or adoption, constituting a single household, interacting and intercommunicating with each other in their respective social roles of husband and wife, mother and father, son and daughter, brother and sister, creating a common culture. So all the members of the family are united because of either marriage, because of birth or adoption, and they live in a single house. They live in the same house and they communicate with each other, and they have specific roles in the family. You may be a son, you may be a daughter, you may be a mother, brother or sister. So you have a specific role, and all members of the family have a common culture. Okay, so that is one of the definitions of family. The other simpler definition by Eliot and Merrill say the biological social unit composed of husband, wife and children. It's a very simple definition. It's a biological social unit composed of husband, wife and children. Okay, so let us see what are the characteristics of family. Family is very important because you get a lot of 5-mark questions. So listen carefully. The characteristics of family. First thing is patriarchal family. Patriarchal family means the traditional family where male is the head of the family. Okay, patriarchal family is a family where the male is the head of the family. You think in your own houses whether your father has the power or the mother has the power. If your father has the power, you are a patriarchal family. The father is the owner and administrator of the family property and right. Okay, all persons living in the family are subordinate to the male person. It could be a grandfather also. So a male is the head of this family. The opposite of it is matriarchal family. Matriarchal means mother or a woman is the head of the family. The male in the family is subordinated to her. The woman is the owner of the property and rules over the family, and she rules the family. Okay, so that is one characteristic of family: patriarchal, matriarchal. Then based on the residence or where you live, okay, based on that you can say family is matrilocal or patrilocal. Matrilocal means the husband lives in the house of his wife. Okay, and patrilocal means wife goes and lives in the house of her husband. Okay, in Indian society, especially in Tamil society, the wife goes and lives in the house of the husband. In some societies, the husband goes and lives in the house of the wife. That is matrilocal family. Okay, it's very simple to understand, so I am not explaining it. Then one common question that you get is, based on the marriage, how the family is classified. Monogamous family, polygamous family. In fact, it comes in a 5-mark question. So you should know what is monogamous family means, in which one man marries one woman and they live as a family. That is monogamous family. Polygamous means one man marries more than one woman at a time. It may be 2 women or 3 women or more. So that is polygamous family. So the difference you should write: monogamous family, you should write the definition. It says one man marries one woman at a time and lives with her and her children. Polygamous family, a man marries more than one woman and they live together, and that is polygamous family. Okay, this is a 5-mark question, so you should be able to write more. We'll discuss that later. Then polyandrous family. Polyandrous means one man marries many women and lives with all of them or each of them alternately, one after the other. He lives with one woman for 5 months, then the other woman for 5 months. So that is polyandrous family. Then based on the ancestry. So we have seen characteristic of family based on who is the head of the family, based on where the husband or wife lives, based on how many people they have married. Now we have based on ancestry. Okay. Matrilineal family means the woman is believed to be the ancestor of the family. Ancestor means ancient, or the descendants from which the family comes. Okay. Patrilineal family means the ancestry comes through the father. So through generations, the father has been the person who is bringing up the family. So like if you are a male, then your father, your grandfather, your great grandfather, like that. Through the father's family, if the family is based, then it is patrilineal. If your mother and her grandmother and her great grandmother, if the generations are through them, then it is matrilineal family. Okay. Then we come to another important question, which is function of the institution. This is the last topic in the social structure and function of institution. This again can be asked in a 5-mark question. Okay, there are two major functions of an institution: manifest and latent. Manifest means main, latent means secondary. Okay, so here manifest functions are those functions which are intended, and main functions. Okay, so for example, Karigiri Hospital, why was it started? To care for leprosy patients. So that is the manifest function of Karigiri. What are the secondary functions? We run a college, we treat other people with other diseases. So that is latent function. I just told you as an example for you to understand. But in society, in any institution, manifest function means the main function for which the institution was created. And latent function means other functions which are not really intended, but they are byproducts of the primary function. Okay. So what is the manifest function of education institution? What is the main function of an education institution? To develop literacy, training for occupation, and to improve basic social values. But there are other latent functions, secondary functions, like you are able to get a job, you are able to develop friendships in the college. These are all secondary functions that happen because of the main function of studying together. Same way, the main function of religion is worshipping God. Okay, but when you go to worship God in a church or temple or mosque, what happens? You create religious community, you alter your family life, and sometimes you create religious hatred also. These are all latent functions of the religious institution. Then the next institution is the economic institution. The main function of the economic institution is to produce and distribute goods. When you produce and distribute goods, then the secondary functions which happen are urbanization, education, growth of labor unions, all this happen. So like that, every institution has a main function and a secondary function. So you should know which of the 5 institutions, like politics, economics, religion, all for each of these 5 institutions, you should know the main function and the latent function. Let us see what are the other functions of the institution. Sex regulation. Okay, so human beings are regulated because of the institutions. So family has certain rules, religion has certain rules about who you should marry, how many people you should marry. Same way, The government has certain rules, how many people you have to marry and who you have to marry. The next function of institution is reproduction and perpetuation of family and human race. So everybody in the government encourages, for example, China says only one family should have one child. India says one family better to have two children or one child. In some countries, the government encourages people to have children because most of them do not get married, especially in European countries, some European countries. Okay, so institution actually, one of the functions is to control or help reproduction and perpetuation of family and human race. Next function of institution is socialization. We already told how in an education institution like school or college, you are able to socialize, meet other people and become friends and talk to them. That is one function of institution. Then the other function is provision of economic maintenance and livelihoods in many culture. That is, the institution will help you to earn money and to have a normal life by getting a job. Then provision of love, affection and security to the individual. This is mainly in the family and education institutions. You get love and affection and security of individuals. Then provision of class status to the individual into which the family has, into the family in which you are born. So you get a status based on which family you are born into. So these are the functions of institutions. Then finally we come to interrelations of institutions. So we have seen that there are 5 primary institutions, there are many secondary institutions. What is the relationship between each of these institutions? They are related to each other. No institution works in a vacuum. They cannot exist alone. They have to be related to each other. So religion, education, family, government, business, all of them are related to each other. So how will you go to temple if you have no family members? So family is related to religion. How will you get a job or earn money if you do not have education? You will not be able to. So education is related to economy. How will you, if you do not have a family, how will you be able to study? If your father and mother did not pay for your education, how will you study? You cannot study. So all these institutions are related to each other. They cannot exist alone. And some institutions help in improving the other institutions. Okay, for example, religion helps you to study. Okay, because if you do not study, then there's a general perception that you will not believe in God because you are not educated. So religion actually ensures that you study. There are in Muslim religion, there are a lot of madrasas where they teach. Christian institutions, there are a lot of Christian schools where they tell that people have to study. Same way in Hinduism also, there are a lot of Hindu colleges and schools that have been established where people are told to study. So religion actually tells people have to study. So religion as an institution encourages people to study. So religion promotes educational institutions. So same way marriage, both the religion as well as education, government, all of this tells that people have to marry. See, government is trying to give money to people who have no other people. They arrange the marriage. Okay, so like that every institution is related to each other. Some are closely related whereas others may not be that closely related. And each of these institutions are constantly adjusting or changing. Okay, change is something which happens all the time. For example, 100 years back was Hinduism the same as Hinduism is right now. No, it has changed. Same way Christianity. 100 years back it was different. Now it is different. Same way with every religion. Same way with education. You think people had medical sociology as a course 100 years back? No. Now you have medical sociology course. You have prosthetic orthotic course. All these courses are new. So when society changes, the social institutions also change and new things are created. Then the next point is, any change in one institution leads to change in the other institutions. For example, if you have a change in your family, see, those days people lived in joint family. Now people live in nuclear families or non-joint families in a single house. So when people live like that, what are the benefits and disadvantages? Joint family, religion was given much more importance. In smaller families, religion is not given that much importance. So change in one institution leads to a change in the other institution. And the last thing is, institutions are created and they are maintained because of the needs of the members of society. Who are people of the society? You and me, the individuals, single people. We are the people who form the society, and the people who form the society also form the institutions. Okay, so only when people or individuals feel a need for the or institutions, then institutions can form. When people feel that institutions are not needed, then they will fail. So the individuals are the ones who actually create the society and the institutions. Hope you've understood this. Some of the important topics here are functions of the institution that you have to understand. Family you have to understand. Then social structure, how it is formed, types of social structure, and monogamy and polygamy. These are some of the common questions, and definition of institution. These are some of the common questions that you have to remember and study. Okay, thank you.